This is Michael David Cobb Bowen for Cobb Vision. How you doing? It's been a while since I cut my last video, and I've picked up a new bad habit, which is the pipe. Skipped a generation. My grandfather used to smoke a pipe, and he used to smoke a blend called London Dock, I think it was called. And I found some kind of London mix that I like. So it's kind of interesting and ironic that we would find that same thing. Anyway, here's what's going on. What I want to talk about today is the Epicurean Edge. And basically what that is kind of like Michael Pollan's advice, which is if you want to avoid all the madness and eat healthy, only eat things that your grandmother would recognize as food. Your grandmother would not recognize Twinkies or Hot Pockets or Red Bull or half of the stuff that we eat. And it's not all junk food, obviously. We have food science that has made a lot of things with, special low cholesterol that you can get in a can and all that. But, there's something to what Pollan is saying. And what I'm finding these days is a number of things that are pushing me closer to the basics. Basics like tobacco. And tobacco is a very simple and wonderful thing. And it's amazing the difference between what they put in the cigarettes and what you can get in a bag at the smoke shop of pure tobacco with some interesting flavors. So far I'm using the Captain Black, which is not bad. And then there's custom blends, but you just smell it. It's wonderful. I went camping this weekend, and the thing that I forgot to do was throw, a handful on the fire and make all that marvelous smoke. It would have been something to see. And I feel a kinship to those first folks who found tobacco and said, "Wow, isn't this marvelous?" At any rate, the Epicurean Edge has to do with cultivating taste in a kind of organic way and recognizing something about a good meal, a good drink, and kind of rules of civilization that arise around what it means to make a good home. And I think that we have become so accustomed to acquiring products for our leisure, for our pastimes. If you haven't been into a bicycle store lately, you should check it out, because you probably won't find a bicycle that costs less than $600 unless you're at Toys R Us. But if you go to a real bike shop where all they do is sell bikes, you will find to your amazement that there are carbon fiber composite bicycles that weigh 7 ounces and go 100 miles an hour on just a half horsepower that a human being can generate. And it's rather an amazing thing, but does anybody really need to ride a bicycle that far, that fast? But a good wine, that's a good way to cook spinach. That's an interesting thing. And the point of the Epicurean Edge is that it is an ethos of good living that transcends politics and that transcends religion. And in fact, it could be considered a good reflection on the reasonableness and the wisdom of people who distinguish themselves by their achievements or their fidelity to various politics or religious faiths. And so kind of there's a test, and this was gotten from Christopher Hitchens, whose memoir I just finished, as well as Notes to a Contrarian, Young Contrarian. and I'm actually now reading the biography, Niall Ferguson's biography of Sigmund Warburg, of whether somebody is kind of out there on something of the fringe. If you find out how they eat and how they manage that particular small and simple thing. So the bottom line is, good taste is a good way to judge character. And I have in the past 12 weeks or so lost about 17 pounds, and I've paid a lot more attention to sports. I really enjoyed watching the World Cup, and I really enjoy watching my weight, and I really enjoy the fact that I'm, getting a little bit more energy and a little bit more time to spend at home with my kids and family at mealtime. And that's kind of the discipline going forward. I had to spend a great deal of money on getting a new transmission, so unfortunately I couldn't get my iPad or my iPhone 4 or my karate school, and so I've had to go back to the basics, which is probably better for me. And I am reading more, so that's good too. So that is the Epicurean Edge, which is, if you're so much into politics and religion, or social science, or that business of minding your neighbor's business, which we all seem to be so willing to do and so incompetent at, then maybe you're not eating right. And if you're not eating right, something's really wrong, isn't it? This is Michael David Cobb Bowen for Cobb Vision.